What's up, buddy fighters? Here we got the champion deck profile from the DMV Dynasty Cup this past weekend. And here we have our champion, Donovan Lomax, to give you the lowdown on his deck.
Hey guys, how's it going? Well, as you can plainly see here, this is 72 pillars. And, of course, my buddy here is Teach Modai. Of course, for those who don't know what he does, his call cost is pay 2 gauge and bounce a 72 pillar to the hand. When he comes out on the field, he destroys a monster. If you have 3 or more pillars, you can pretty much destroy another card on the field. It's really ideal. Well, and we'll get to all the other things going on. Starting with the zeros, we have 3 boy transformation as Modai, Kid Modai. When he enters the field, discard a card, and you can discard a card to bounce a card on your opponent's field. Well, that is actually pretty good. I don't even know what to say. And it saves you from a lot of things. Bounce items that can be bounced. Bounce other monsters as well. It's pretty good. Next up, for size 1s, of course I run for the buddy. Teach Modai. We already know what he does. It's really great when a bunch of these are in the drop, which I'll get into that later. Next, Art of Body Duplication as Modai. Run 4 of these. Basically, he has a counter ability, and during my turn, if I can put him into the drop zone and replace him with a as Modai on the in my drop by paying his call cost. So you can go into Teacher, Kid, or any other as Modai that's currently in the drop. Next, we have 3 Street Racer Eligos. You can pay 1. Pay 1 life to call him from your hand. Redirect the attack to him. And when he's destroyed, you can pay a life to actually get him from the drop and add him to your hand. It used to be another thing that he can do, which was actually pretty funny, but we got a correction on that, so it won't fly. So there's him. Next, 2 Demon Dr. Burr. Basically, you pay when he comes out. You get a gauge, and at the end of your opponent's turn, he dies. I cannot stress how good he is, especially when you want to gauge ramp. Next, 2 Follower Gops. Yeah, if you have size 3 on the field, you can reduce his size by 1. His act skill, pay 2 life. You can grab a 72 pillar from the drop zone into your hand. Any 72 pillar. Target monster, spell, impact, yeah. Next, 2 Deceiving Shacks. I don't know if I was pronouncing that right. When there are 2 more 72 pillars on the field, when he shows up, you draw a card. Yeah, pretty good for drawing. Now, this is strange. I should be running more of this, but Demon Realm Architect Gamagan. Pay 1 gauge when when he enters the field, you can get a Magic World set spell and add it to your hand. I'll get into the set spells and targets that are in here, so more like getting Emergency Ward or Barking Solomon. It's actually pretty good, but when I see him, he works wonders. All right, that's it for my size 1s. Size 2 lineup ain't too much, but it's useful. 3 copies of Dance Modi. When pay one gauge to call him. When he enters the field, draw a card. Simple and effective, and it can be reused. We'll get into those shenanigans in a moment. Size 3, 1 Death Modi. Pay 2 gauge. When this card is destroyed, put the top 3 cards of your deck into the drop zone. Call the 3 monsters among them, and without paying the call cost. Now, I also I learned, well, of course, reading is fundamental. Yeah, when there are cards out there that actually lock your prevent you from getting from drop, they have when he dies, if that's out there, you're not getting those cards. You reveal them, yeah, that's gonna happen, but you're not gonna get them. Which sucks. But other than that, pretty good. And let's penetrate and lifelink too. Alright, on to my spells. We have 2 Never Say Never. Put the top 2 cards from the deck to the gauge. If you have no hand, you draw 2. I only play this once per turn. It's actually a lifesaver. So sometimes when you have to play out your hand to actually gain advantage.
Or you go to top deck mode.
Yeah, or top deck mode, which is also plus. Next up, MVP card, one of my favorites. Good to go. Run them at 4. Now, you return a size 1 or less monster from the field to the owner's hand. Gain 1 life. I use this thing particularly to return my Teach, and if I have enough gauge, I will proceed to actually repeat destroying cards on the field.
Your lesson is not over.
Right.
Class is not over.
Clearly it isn't. Which brings me to Little Light. New card that came out in 4 dimensions. You can I can put up to 1 monster from the deck into the gauge or the drop zone, and then shuffle my deck and I gain a life. It's actually pretty busted. Not gonna lie. Helps me with that one of. It's like, oh, I need Death Modi. Do I need him drop or gauge? Let's throw him in gauge. See what happens. He'll end up in drop regardless, eventually. But if I want him to get it there faster, play Little Light. And get a life from it. So it's cool. Next one is another good one. Mind of Hardcore. We have 3. I can only play this if I have 2 or more 72 pillars on the field. Put the top 3. I can put the top 3 cards from a deck into the gauge. It's one of my better gauge rampers. Pretty good. Next, 1 Barking Solomon. You pay one. So you pay a gauge to play it. When your opponent adds cards into his hand outside of the what was it? Outside of the draw?
Outside the draw phase?
Yeah, outside of the draw phase.
And
they have to and charge and draw. They got to discard. And you only can play 1 of these. He's only at 1 for a reason. I hardly got a chance to use this too much. If in a better case scenario, it's an extra 72 pillar on the field. So that works. Next are 2 Emergency Wards Neverland. when a monster is returned to the hand, you gain a life. You can only use this ability once per turn. Using that, stacking with good to go. It's actually pretty good. Gain to buddy. Yeah, buddy, and if you, of course, you're buddy calling or whatever, that also works too. What buddy calling will teach. Next, magical goodbye. This thing is pretty self-explanatory. Counter return size 2 or less monster from the field to the owner's hand. Yeah, just bounce. I can bounce teach, but this one I can bounce dance and anything else on my opponent's field to help disrupt them. But I've been mainly bouncing with dance to actually dance modi to actually draw more. Next up is the staple. Nice one. I have like 2 different arts of these. Whatever, they work. They do the same thing. Yeah. Pay 1 gauge, draw 2 cards. Nice. And lastly, we have Saturday Night Devil Fever. This is the MVP card right here. Your win condition. You only cast this card if you have 6 or more pillars in the drop. Pay 2 gauge, pay 1. Choose up to 3 size 172 pillars from the drop and call them without paying the call cost. And you also shuffle your drop zone with the deck and so forth. Basically, all my teachers, if all of the teachers are in the drop zone, yeah, you're destroying up to, and you have a set spell out, you're pretty much destroying something 6 times. Also, you can actually combine it with and get Burr out for gauge. Get you can also get Art of Duplication as modi out. If there's a as modi that is out here already out there that's size 1, you can do that, and you can actually use that. There are plenty of ways to actually go about it. Alright. Next we're going to get into my items, which is only running 2 Sorcery Book Goeta. Pay 1 gauge. It can attack while there's a monster in the center. If there are 3 more pillars on the field, gains 2k power and 1 crit. So in other words, he just gains Asmodai stats, and also he runs for pretty good damage. Well, should I go into my sideboard?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, the sideboard works. Alright, into sideboard. Well, the sideboard is usually up to your own discretion. I have 2 Chillaxes for obvious reasons. Nullify, and you gain 1. Well, not nullify, reduce damage and you gain 1. Next up, 3 Magic Glue. Pay 1 gauge. You can bounce an item from the owner's hand to the field, or rest a size 2 monster. In this day and age, you're more than likely going to be bouncing items more than resting. At least that's what I did in DMV. I just kept bouncing weapons. It's very stupid. Next, 2 Barbed Wire. Rest opponent's item on the field. It's pretty good. I like it.
Nice and simple.
Yeah, nice and simple, right? 1 magical goodbye, just in case something I need a 4th. And Champ Wrestler Asmodai. He's pretty good. He's clutch. He's that high desperation where you go, oh, I need all of this to go, everything on this field to go away. call him, discard as many cards as it takes. He destroys a card for each one that's each card you discarded. So yeah, that is it for the profile. It's kind of like the first time I've actually done this myself, I think. So yeah, hope you like it.
Hey man, that's the Champs deck. Check it out. Like, comment, subscribe for more, and we'll see you in the next vid.